Bryan Gaiser is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed by Bryan Gaiser are solely his own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance, coaching, and educational services offered through Gaiser Financial Group. Gaiser Financial Group is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal services may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making decisions related to these issues. This material is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All opinions expressed by externally cited sources are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. The case studies presented reflects the specific circumstances of one client and should not be considered a guarantee that another client or potential client may experience the same or certain level of results. This is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment recommendations or solicitation. Names have been changed to protect the anonymity of clients and are not testimonials in nature. Learn, grow, and take charge of your retirement. This is the Wealth Thru Wisdom podcast with financial advisor Bryan Gaiser, founder of Gaiser Financial Group.
You're pretty good about creating time and space in your family, Bryan, and creating routines.
What I live for.
Right. So after the radio program, do you have a Saturday routine? Do you have a ritual that you do? Or is it because you also have you've got a 12-year-old daughter, so sometimes the ritual is whatever her schedule.
Right. Depending on what time of year, like in the summers, we heavy pool because she's a swimmer.
Yeah.
And she's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And we practice during the year, but that's just going to the aquatic center. Of course, it's pulled back. You can't swim as much. You got to be inside. And things of that nature. So we do that. We get out. She and I I try to spend as much time, try to get them off the electronics. Even when you do a good job of taking them off, it's forever pulling them in, and I can't. It's at that stress level because she's 12, and it's like, golly,
it's not just
do
for
something
kids, though.
Yeah. Changing her habits is totally predicting her habit. It's trying to, So
it's not just for kids, though.
I'm gonna have that one day everything shuts off, TVs, everything.
Yeah.
Phone is purely for ringing only.
Right? It should be.
You cannot text. You cannot look at internet. I'm going to shoot for that for Saturday or Sunday, things like that. So even if it's a half a day, you're going to have a 2-hour period where you can do your little thing, but that's it. It's tough today with electronics.
It sucks you in. Even you brought up kids. It's not just a kids thing. It's for me as an adult too. I find myself getting sucked into it as well.
Well, it's built from a psychological standpoint. And what we've done out there is we've completely given all the information about ourselves off of like Facebook or what have you, everything about us. So it knows how to manipulate us even more.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Speaking of our phones and of social feeds. Lord. So there's this trend going on Instagram where women are posting videos correcting their husband's daily habits. Comedian Patton Oswalt says his wife even uses this to win arguments minutes after they happen. This is Patton Oswalt.
We will have, and it's a petty argument, we'll be in the kitchen. Sweetie, please don't put the sponge in the sink. It picks up bacteria and germs. And I'll say, well, when I use the sponge, I put hot water and soap on it. It kills any germs. I wouldn't worry about that. And then she won't say anything. And then 20 minutes later, there is a video in my Instagram inbox, an Instagram video, some frantic hippie. Here's the 8 reasons why you can't leave a sponge in the sink. These germs will kill your whole family. And then she'll put a little emoji of that little,
the little thinking face emoji. Marriages, it's funny when you think about, because, here in Greensboro, Patton Oswalt's a pretty well-known comedian. He and his wife, there's some things about relationships that are consistent no matter what part of the world you're in, no matter what age you are, no matter what your demographic is. There's some similar threads that happen relationship to relationship. Let's talk about how all of this relates to the work that you do, Bryan, because speaking of dirty sponges, I will say this. Dirty sponges are gross, and they can harbor bacteria.
They freak me out.
They are gross. Make sure to put them in the dishwasher at the end of the day, and that will help. But in retirement planning and the work that you do, because something to be said, Bryan, I am sure that you'll sit there and tell people in the office, you've probably worked with folks before, and you say, if we don't do this, or if you don't do this, then this might happen. And you have to kind of be a little bit of the nagging spouse in that relationship and say, if we had handled this before, we wouldn't have worried about this now. What are the dirty sponge type things that you see people that can create things like big tax hits, for example, that could have been avoided?
It reminds me of a couple that I have.
Yeah.
They're out of Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
Good folks. Yeah. They really are. They live out near the Coliseum. I don't know the name of the neighborhood, but by golly, I know where they live.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're good, great folks. And they came to me when they're about to retire, probably in the neighborhood 1.3, 1.4 million, just coming off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. And the big thing was, I said, well, look, at that time it was 70 and a half. Today it's gone up to, when he has to take his RMD, will be 73 just by his age today.
Okay.
The wife didn't have as strong of because she took care of the kids, raised the kids, but she does have a small IRA, insignificant in the big grand scheme of things, but it's their money. They work together. Without her, he couldn't have done it either. Right. So the point being is here, I said, they were 65 when they came. She was 68. He was 65.
Okay.
They're now 70 and 73.
Okay.
So she's having to take a little bit of income off of her IRA. But back then I said, you better start thinking about one thing right now that's going to be real important. Possibly some Roth conversions. You can either choose to pay taxes when you want to, or you're going to do it at 70 and a half. Of course, that changed since.
Right.
But the point is that this person, what we were able to do is we started floating funds over. They actually came to me before they worked. They retired at 65. They came to me before they retired, about 3 years.
Yeah.
And we were able to do some things. One, he switched to where he was just contributing to a Roth. And we did a lot of changes along the way. When he retired, he had about $1.3 million in the IRA. Mm-hmm. Today, we have about $620,000 in the IRA, about 300 and some thousand in brokerage account, and around 780,000 in Roth. So we've started building and living for the Roth. They're living exactly the lifestyle they want. Are their taxes a little higher? Yes. But now we're in a sweeter spot for the future, because at age 73, there was 200,000 in there. They'd had to take out 70, 80,000. Now that money's growing. Their growth pot is their Roth pot.
Got it.
Their IRA is what they draw off of. Do they have taxes? Yes, but they've been minimalized because they know that Roth pot is growing much faster, because one day one of the two of them is going to pass away. I think we all agree with that first, most likely.
Right.
They're not going to go at the same time. That's a very rare occasion.
Right.
And now that other person's a single filer that has to pay much higher taxes.
Right.
So we built a plan around, hey, let's look towards how do we get as much as we can into your Roth responsibly without paying too much in taxes, and let's grow that Roth. Let's make that your growth pot, and we're going to be conservative with your IRA.
Okay.
And so we've done that, and they're in much better shape today. Because if he needs a new car and say he needs 20,000 and it doesn't make sense to draw it out, sell some stock or whatever the case may be, he can pull off that IRA and it doesn't change his taxes at all. At 7, you pull 20,000 out. At 3%, you get 21,000 back in a year. You see what I mean? On 700,000.
Okay.
So it's real easy to replace that money just in a fixed account even. So the Roth is tax-free, folks. So what we're doing is, and in the future, if you raise taxes 20%, 20% of zero is still zero. Mm-hmm. So it's just creative thinking. It's looking and doing an audit on what you are doing right now and say, is this money being used the best it can be used?
Yeah.
And we looked at it and says it makes more sense if we can start piling money into the Roth. Because he couldn't do conversions while he worked, but the conversion started right when he stopped. And we really used it from an intelligent level. We just slowly, and a couple of things had changed along the way. One of them lost a parent, inherited some straight cash, used some of that for Roth conversions as well. And just building that Roth and that's their growth pot. And it's done really well.
Got it.
It's not the ordinary stuff that's going to get you through retirement. It's the extraordinary moves you make. And they really are simple. They're not even that extraordinary. They just have extraordinary results. They're simple to do. That's what we do at Gaiser Financial. If you want to make changes, small changes to what you're already doing and have big results, our number is 336-586-5861. Give us a call, 336-586-5861. If you give us a call, we're going to sit down and we're going to do an audit on what you're doing. At no cost, no obligation to you, we're going to look over your picture and we're going to say, hey, if you just made these 2 or 3 little changes, it could pay huge dividends down the road. And that's really what it is. It's the small things that will advance your retirement. And that's what I consider us experts at.
Yeah.
But why? Because I live, eat, and breathe this stuff. I love doing this. Yeah. I don't enjoy it as much as being a father to my little girl, but I enjoy the heck out of it.
Yeah, of course. Bryan, you brought up the idea also about this couple you were just speaking about, how they came to you before they retired, because I think that's another important thing to mention. We always talk about here on the program, if you're 5 to 10 years from retirement, give us a call. Now, if you're already retired, Bryan can help you as well. But there is really advantages to be taken specifically with tax planning that happen starting in for some people at 59, 60, 61. You might be 15 years from your retirement goal line, or 5 to 10 years, but take advantage of the time now, right?
Yeah, precisely. I mean, you want to take a step back. Maybe you can be doing things. Maybe it is a good idea for you to shift over to all Roth and forego the little tax break you get for maxing out your 401k.
Yeah.
Because the growth on you got another 6 or 7 years before you retire. Yeah. Imagine retiring with $400,000 or $500,000 or $600,000 in your Roth. How much that would be beneficial to you in a society that we're probably looking at a small recession coming. Probably looking at the least a little bit of a pullback on the market. But I'm gonna tell you, pullbacks on the market, don't let them scare you to death. But without some pullbacks along the way, we don't go up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If all we did was go up at some point, we'd go over a cliff because money would be worth nothing.
Right.
So you got to have winners and losers. Just don't be a loser. Just don't don't lean on the side of loser. and I'm kidding about that, folks. What I'm not kidding about, doing an audit on what you're currently doing. And just if you find one thing that changes the trajectory of your retirement, of your savings, it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Here's the phone number. Once again, 336-586-5861 on Dolly Madison, right off of Friendly, right near Guilford College. Give us a call, 336-586-5861. Happy to sit down with you. Happy to give you an hour or so of my time. No cost, no obligation. Give us a call, 336-586-5861.
Thanks for listening to the Wealth Thru Wisdom podcast. To learn more, visit geiserfinancial.com. Bryan Gaiser is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed by Bryan Gaiser are solely his own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance, coaching, and educational services offered through Gaiser Financial Group. Gaiser Financial Group is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal services may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making decisions related to these issues. This material is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All opinions expressed by externally cited sources are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. The case studies presented reflects the specific circumstances of one client and should not be considered a guarantee that another client or potential client may experience the same or certain level of results. This is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment recommendations or solicitation. Names have been changed to protect the anonymity of clients and are not testimonials in nature.